Welcome to the Unit 9 review. There are going to be two components to this video. The first, I'm going to recap the unit and discuss the key things that we did in the unit and what you should have a clear understanding of before you move into practicing any of the problems. And then, of course, the second part are going to be some problems for you to practice. So let's take a look at a little review of the unit first. Okay, obviously we discussed area and volume, and we calculated the area between two curves and the volume of solids using the definite integral. So what you want to have is a clear understanding of the process for finding area and volume. Unit 9.02 is where we finish with area between two curves, and so you can go back to that video to sort of get a summation of the process by which we want to find the area between two curves. And it would be helpful to maybe go back to 9.01 to remind yourself of why the definite integral accomplishes this so well. For volume, we saw two different ways that we could create solids. The first way was given a region that was the base of a figure and then the type of cross-section and the orientation of the cross-section. And then the second way was taking a region and actually revolving it around an axis to form a solid of revolution. The great thing is that regardless of what type of a solid we're dealing with, our definition for how we're going to find volume is always the same. And really the only difference that we see between the two types of solids is what the cross-section is going to look like. Obviously, if you're given the type of cross-section, that's the cross-section you're dealing with. And if you're revolving a region around an axis, we're always going to be dealing with those circular cross-sections. So in 9.06, this process is really summed up nicely, and a couple of neat things are pointed out that can help save a lot of time and a lot of worry, particularly about how do we tell which variable we're going to integrate with respect to. That should be made very, very clear. And also a couple of nice tips for making sure that you're always finding an expression for the dimension of your cross-section both efficiently and accurately. So what you should do is go through and make sure you have a process just emblazoned in your mind for when you're going to find area and volume, and that way when you attack the problems you can repeat that. So it'd be a good idea to write those down maybe on a little cheat sheet for yourself and have that with you as you start attacking the problems, and I think you'll find as you use it you don't have to rely on it nearly as much. It will be. So what I would do is once I have this process written down, I would go back over a couple of the problems from the homeworks or some of the examples that we did in these videos. Make sure that you feel confident, and then go ahead and move on to the problems that I'm about to give you, which you can sort of use as a practice exam. All right, here are the problems. The problems with green stars are free response type questions. And so you'll want to make sure you're kind of giving yourself 15 minutes per for those. We will see some of those AP style free response questions on the test. And in class tomorrow, we're going to actually take a look. We're going to do a couple of AP free response questions, and so that will give you a little bit of extra practice in addition to these here. Notice, of course, that a solutions video is also posted, so you can check that you are getting the answers correct. Of course, feel free to email or stop by early in the morning with any questions.